The deep man for South Carolina is Chris Culliver. And we are ready for football from Columbia, South Carolina, and great to have you with us. The return from the 1. And the Gamecocks will set up shop at the 21-yard line. And the quarterback for South Carolina is Stephen Garcia.
Stephen's done a great job of improving from last year to this year. You see the record as a starter, but the big improvement is completion percentage. 60% completion percentage this year, just 53 last year. Doing a good job of taking care of the football.
As the Gamecocks come out for their first possession of the day. The setback is Kenny Miles. Steve Spurrier these days is alternating 3 men through that tailback position. First and 10 from the 21. And it's Miles. He'll take it out to the 25. Let's take a look at the Toyota starting lineups today for the Gamecocks. Their backs and receivers. Mo Brown is 84 yards away from 1,000 in his South Carolina career in receiving yards. And the offensive line, they continue to shuffle things around. Jarrell King moves back in at left tackle for today's game. 2nd and 6. Swing it to Miles. And out to the 26, sets up a 3rd and short. Smith with the tackle. Let's take a look at the Kentucky starters. On that defensive line, Evans is the sack leader with 3. Dave talked about Johnson in the middle. He's the main man at that linebacking spot. Mike, a terrific athlete. And the big story of the SEC is in the secondary for this game for Kentucky. Nelms is a true freshman. This is going to be caught by Gurley, and a first down for the Gamecocks. And they worked right away on the true freshman.
Yes, they did. They went right to work on Nelms. You mentioned the true freshman. This is a great job of reading coverage by Garcia. Sees the linebacker fly out from underneath, and Gurley really doesn't do a very good job of working back to his quarterback. Almost opened the door for Nelms to get a hand in, but good job of squeezing it once he got the football.
It's a 12-yard pickup. First down, South Carolina at the 38. They fake the belly to the fullback. Garcia goes down the middle. Penalty flag, and it's incomplete. Barnes was the intended receiver. And Nelms is caught for the hold.
Yeah, Nelms took the initial fake to the inside by Jason Barnes and reached up and grabbed the big receiver for South Carolina to keep him from getting deep. And really, as a corner, that's what you're taught. If you get beat in an initial move, don't give up the big play. Go ahead and reach out and grab. Better to take the penalty than give up a touchdown.
Holding, number 15 on the defense. Penalty, 10 yards, automatic, first down.
Nelms isolated on the outside against the big kid, Jason Barnes, 6'4", 200 pounds. And you got his hands around the waist. Good job at the end to finish by Nelms, but got the grab early. So a first down now here near midfield for South Carolina.
Dave, that's back-to-back plays. They've gone after the true freshman. It's first down at the Gamecock 48 for the sophomore Garcia. Into Kentucky territory at the 47. Winston Guy came up with the initial hit.
Really a good job here by Stephen Garcia. Talked about decision making right off the top. His completion percentage has gone up. He knows when to throw the ball on the scramble and when to tuck it. This was a good decision to eat the football, get as much as you can, get up the field now, 2nd and medium here.
Steve Spurrier's offense averaging 27 points per game so far this season. Some tough yards for Miles straight ahead to the 45. Corey Peters, the co-captain, defensive tackle with the stop for Kentucky.
Bob, this has been an area for Kentucky over the last several years that they've been extremely strong, and that's a defensive line. Now, they lost a couple of great players, and Myron Pryor and Jeremy Jarman have gone on to the NFL, but Corey Peters remains on Rich Brooks' big defensive line, and they are pretty salty against the run in the middle.
On 3rd and 4. Garcia out of the shotgun. The inside handoff is going to be short of a first down for Kenny Miles, a redshirt freshman from Lawrenceville, Georgia.
It looked like they'd had a little crease, and they're going to line up real quickly before any change here on 4th and short.
And a penalty flag as Garcia took it straight ahead. The ball pops free. And a procedural penalty against the Gamecocks.
Looked like
prior to the snap, false start, number 66 on offense, penalty 5 yards, down remains 3rd.
Yeah, they called it on Hutchinson, the right tackle. Just a quick, and that was a situation there where they had obviously practiced that. They wanted to get to the line on a short yardage situation and try to get a first down before Kentucky had a chance to adjust. And a quick count, and Hutchinson, Eckerson was anticipating the snap, jumped offside.
Spencer Lanning ready to kick it to Mr. Do Everything for Kentucky, Randall Cobb. Cobb is going to make the grab on the run. And a nice tackle out to the 28-yard line. So the Wildcats will get the football for the first time. And their quarterback is Mike Hartline.
Now, Mike struggled over the last 2 weeks, and who wouldn't against Alabama and Florida. In fact, 8-5 as a starter. 4 of those 5 losses as a starter have come to Florida and Alabama, 2 each. So Hartline has played extremely well, other than those 2 teams have given him a lot of trouble.
The give is to Derek Locke. And he'll move it out to about the 30-yard line before Cliff Matthews brought him down. And this is what you were talking about, Dave. 2 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, just not making plays down the field, averaging about just over 4 yards an attempt, and that's just not getting it done in the passing game. Now, he's got to have people step up around him, no question about it, to make some plays against another good defense in South Carolina.
3 receivers to the bottom of your screen, and Hartline will flare it to Locke at the 35. Out to about the 37-yard line. Shy of a first down. Culliver the tackle. We talked about Randall Cobb, and yes, he will do a little bit of everything, sort of the X factor for the Cats. The offensive line, we should point out, has allowed only 5 sacks in 4 games this season.
Yeah, they are outstanding. Zip Duncan, who plays that left tackle, has played all the way across the front in his career at Kentucky.
3rd and short, and Locke's got the first down. Out to the 40. This junior out of Oklahoma, who was the former track star, found his way to Lexington. Let's take a look at the Gamecocks defensively. Keep your eye on Cliff Matthews, a non-stop motor at defensive end. We talked about Norwood in the middle at linebacker. And in the secondary, Darian Stewart is the lone senior back there. Not much on first down. And who's there? Eric Norwood.
This is a defense that 3 of the 4 secondary members back there went on and are playing in the National Football League. You mentioned Darian Stewart. Darian is slid from linebacker. He played strong side linebacker, which is kind of a hybrid position for South Carolina, to take the place of Emmanuel Cook, who's led this team in tackles the last 2 years.
On the reverse. Cobb dances away, gets to the 49, and very close to a first down. They will try to put Cobb in a lot of different sets and formations.
Try to find a way to get your playmakers the football. That's Derek Locke, and it's Randall Cobb. Cobb, you'll find him in the slot. You'll find him in the backfield. Here he comes from a slot area. He's going to get a real good block from big wide receiver Matthews right there. Excellent peel back block on Darian Stewart to allow Cobb to get up the sideline on 3rd and short.
And on the short yardage situation, Kentucky comes straight ahead to John Connor, their big fullback. And he's got the first down at the Gamecock 48. A terrific blocker, and he picks up the tough yard.
Yeah, and Connor's one of the guys, a classic fullback. You don't get him the football very much, but when you give it to him, he's very productive. Just 6 carries on the year, but averages 6.3, and there he gets enough for the first down.
tied up after a yard gain. Adjaboy and Pepper, the two defensive tackles, plugging the middle of that line for South Carolina.
You know, Bob, this is a Kentucky team that really struggled with South Carolina last year. Just 62 yards rushing in the game up in Lexington last year, just 2.8 yards a carry. So for them to get some mileage out of their ground attack here early, Rich Brooks has got to be excited.
Second down and 9. Block is hit immediately. A terrific tackle by Whitlock. CC coming up from that field corner, and he had that play read perfectly.
Just his second career start, CC Whitlock. He enrolled in January of '08. He's a sophomore, but this is his second start of his career, and a great job of reading the quick screen, little bubble screen to the third inside receiver, which was the halfback Derek Locke. Nice play by the young corner.
I think Kentucky's going to take a timeout here. Were they caught short? Did they have enough guys on? Did they have 10 guys? They do take the timeout. 7:19 to go in the first, and scoreless in Columbia. Kentucky has dropped 9 straight to South Carolina, and in last year's game, their inability to make a third down was costly. They were 1 for 16 against the Gamecocks last year. On this opening drive, they're 2 for 2 and faced with a 3rd and 10 on this one. From the South Carolina 48. To the 39-yard line, but not enough for the first to fullback John Connor.
Well, it's an excellent decision by Hartline. Deep zone coverage by South Carolina. He drops it off to Connor underneath, and Connor's able to get just short of the first down, and you got to go here if you're Rich Brooks.
And go they shall. Everybody knows the play, and it's Locke over the left side for the first down at the 37.
It's a close one, Bob. Looked like he had to just cross the 38-yard line. They got a now late penalty flag now. It's come in.
Someone had something to say, no doubt.
It looked like Darian Stewart, number 24, got in there, and that's really going to please Coach Spurrier.
Well, it looks like if that penalty's against South Carolina, they go give first down one way or the other. They will measure. So short on the measurement, but they've still got to figure out that flag.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike. Number 16 on the defense. Kick the football while it's on the ground. 15-yard penalty. First down.
And that would be Shaq Wilson.
Yeah, sophomore from Jacksonville, Florida. Young man that came in 3rd on the team. You'll see him right in the middle of your screen, number 16. It looked like he had a few things to say after he kicked the football, so the referee took exception to that. The young man cost his team 15 yards. I've had a lot of coaches tell me there's not a man on the team that's worth 15 yards, so Shaq's going to have a nice conversation when he talks to Steve Spurrier when he gets to the sideline.
That will make it 1st and 10 from the 23. And the Gamecocks give it to Randall Cobb in at that first down play for Kentucky, and they'll mark it at the 21.
Yeah, Randall lined up in that Wildcat set for Kentucky, and Randall comes in averaging just under 6 yards a carry, and he'll stay in this position at quarterback. Now, he is dangerous throwing the football as well. Oh for 2 on the season, Bob, throwing the football, but he is dangerous throwing it.
And a flag. Whistle blows it dead. Let me ask you, though, this question, Dave, as a former quarterback. Here you've got
Prior
Cobb
to the
coming in.
snap, false start, number 40 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Can't remain safe.
He comes in as the Wildcat, but he's still wearing those gloves. Does that make a difference throwing the football?
Well, it can, but obviously he's done it in practice. It's not something that's foreign to him, his ability to throw the football. You see a lot of guys wearing gloves now. The gloves, they can't be tackified, but they've got this sticky type surface to them. It's very easy to grip the football. So it obviously doesn't bother him. He's worked on it in practice, but he can hurt you throwing the ball.
Hardline throws, it's complete to the 18-yard line. Gene McCaskill, a homecoming of sorts, the sophomore from Chester, South Carolina.
Mike Hartline doing exactly what Joker Phillips, the offensive coordinator, wants him to do. He wants him to set and get the ball out on time. It helps the offensive line. It gives you confidence on the offensive of the whole offensive group, but it also keeps you in these situations, third and medium, which is where Joker Phillips is a master at calling plays.
A 9-yard pickup on that last play. Incomplete. Right off the hands of Randall Cobb. The hands and the gloves.
Well, this is probably a touchdown. Great read. They got man coverage across the board in the secondary. Hartline reads it, sticks it right on his guy, Randall Cobb. Boy, Randall squeezes that one. He had nothing but a couple of stripes in the end zone in front of him.
Lona Siebert is the kicker. The coaches were telling us on the field before the game the ball's carrying today. This will be a 36-yard attempt.
2 big kicks for him last week, 2 49-yarders against Alabama.
And Kentucky gives the scoreboard company. His 4th field goal in 5 tries this season. Kentucky leads it 3-0 at Columbia. Thank you, Fred. We'll be leaning on you all afternoon long to keep us up to date. Here it's 3-0 thanks to this 36-yard field goal by Lonis Siebert, who's getting the congratulatory handshake. Kentucky goes 54 yards in 14 plays to draw first blood. Now South Carolina will get it back. This is Culliver down the sideline. And a huge return. Takes it down to the Kentucky 33. A 60-yard return.
Boy, great job of Culliver. Watch him physical just as he gets the contact. Got to run through an arm tackle right here. He'll run through the arm tackle there, and now great speed to make that player miss, and sets up his offensive mates in great field position at the 34 of Kentucky.
Garcia under pressure. Tipped and incomplete. And he ends up on his backside thanks to Sam Maxwell.
Well, Sam's just reading his eyes here. Defensive, the linebacker gets a chuck on the crossing route and then just drops right back in to the area where Garcia wants to throw it. Excellent job of linebacker play. His job, try to redirect those crossing routes and then get back in his zone. Did an excellent job there. Almost came up with a big play for Kentucky.
2nd and 10. Again, good pressure by Kentucky, but the pass is caught at the 9-yard line. The grab by Brian Maddox.
Well, as well as Sam Maxwell played that one, this time he gets beat up the field. Run a wheel route with Brian Maddox, the halfback, just down the sidelines. He starts to the flat. See number 10 release out of the backfield. He's isolated on Maxwell, the linebacker, and then he does a great job of adjusting to the football. Maxwell actually in pretty good position, but Maddox adjusted to the underthrown ball and makes the play.
On the fade, it's incomplete. Intended for Alshon Jeffrey, the heralded true freshman from St. Matthews, South Carolina. Randall Burden, the other corner that we've talked about today, moving into the starting lineup, was defending.
Alshon Jeffrey, you see him standing there, number 1. Calhoun High School in St. Matthews, South Carolina. 28 touchdown receptions in his junior and senior year in high school. And boy, when we mentioned his name, Steve Spurrier started gushing over this kid. Kid that looked like he was destined to go to USC, ended up going to the USC of the East instead of going to the USC of the West.
Garcia throws. Touchdown, South Carolina. And there he is, Jeffrey with the touchdown reception. His second of the year.
Well, Steve Spurrier said that he wanted to get Alshon the ball a little bit more. They hadn't had a chance to feature him very much. He came in today with just 5 receptions on the season and a touchdown, but you're going to see that the big body that the young man has allows him to make catches, and that's why Steve Spurrier is so excited about Alshon Jeffrey.
And the kick is good to make it a 7-3 lead. Alshon Jeffrey at 6'3" goes to get it, and the Gamecocks are on the board. A 60-yard kick return by Culliver sets up the 10-yard touchdown pass to Jeffrey from Garcia. 7-3 South Carolina with 3:55 to go here in this opening period. Now Spencer Lanning, who just added the extra point, will kick it away to the Wildcats. Locke and Cobb are the deep men. This one is going to be handled at the 30. And spinning away is Randall Cobb, and he'll take it over that 30 to about the 32. Let's go down to Jen.
Well, a few moments ago, Dave, you were talking about how Steve Spurrier told us about Alshon Jeffrey when we talked to him yesterday. And, you know, I had asked him, because he said in the papers, we are not a final product team. So I said, all right, what's the next step for you guys? What do you need to see? And he basically said, we've got to try to find out who our playmakers are. And this kid, this freshman, was the one he named. Now Jeffrey has a touchdown catch in 2 straight games.
Well, you saw how big a bodied Alshon Jeffrey is and why Steve's so excited about him to screen off and make that play.
A couple of yards to Locke. They were thrilled when Alshon Jeffrey made that choice you were talking about. And I think his leaping ability is going to be something that SEC fans can look forward to for years to come, because the athleticism he possesses, that body, he can go get it.
Well, and he did a great job on the touchdown of screening off, and that's something you have to learn as a receiver. Obviously, he has receiver skills, which is something that's hard to teach.
It's Cobb, and unable to break it on the corner as C.C. Whitlock came up to get him around the ankles.
Bob, let's look at that touchdown by Jeffrey, and let's talk about what he's got to get to the inside, and now the ball's a little behind him. See him gear down, use his body to screen off Burden the corner and squeeze it. I mean, that's a freshman, a true freshman, making a heck of a play on a ball. Jen mentioned that's his 2nd touchdown on the year, and boy, I think we maybe see the beginnings of a great career for a young receiver.
Throws nearly intercepted. Gilmore coming up on the outside. Incomplete pass. A quick 3 and out. Our thumb it in poll question today: the greatest coach in the history of the SEC. Bear Bryant, Vince, Coach Vaught, and you see the Nayland, Spurrier, Jordan, historic names in the game. Fred Hickman will update it all at halftime. Standard text rates apply. There, ties to Kentucky. Here's the punt. Fair catch at 17 by Gilmore. 45-yard punt. So the Gamecocks get the football right back, and Stephen Garcia as this season Dave Archer has unfolded, is getting better week by week. Our Chick-fil-A nugget of the game, Garcia now up to 120 straight passing attempts without a pick.
Yeah, you just jinxed him there, Bob. You know that, don't you? This streak dates all the way back to the Georgia game. Threw an interception in the second quarter of the Georgia game. 3 full football games, and parts now of this one in the Georgia game where he's not thrown a pick. He's done an excellent job of taking care of the ball and getting everybody involved.
On the toss, Giles gets the carry here on the 3rd South Carolina possession of this opening quarter. He is actually the leading ball carrier in terms of yardage for South Carolina. 231 yards and just under 6 yards per carry.
And another freshman out of Tampa, Florida, Gaither High School, enrolled in January, got in early to learn the system. But he's another guy that Coach Spurrier extremely excited about. This is a young football team that South Carolina has.
A loss of a yard. Gamecocks 2nd and 11. And again, they come inside to Giles. More emphasis this season, Dave, on the South Carolina rushing attack.
Yeah, and coming into today's game, a dramatic improvement over the 2 previous years in yards per carry. They don't make a major commitment to the ground attack, but with the way they've run the football this year, they're making more of an emphasis on trying to get those young kids the football in the backfield. And a kid like Giles has home run ability.
Giles couldn't do much with those 2 carries. Now the Gamecocks forced into a passing situation here, 3rd and 11. Garcia down the sideline. And incomplete. Gurley was juggling it. Burden was juggling it. And it falls incomplete, and Garcia took some major punishment.
Well, he's going to take a big hit here. He's going to set up, look the safety off. He wants to throw the fade route down the right sideline. Big hit on the inside by DeQuinn Evans. But look at the coverage by Randall Burton. We talked about the young corners. Burton, the more experienced of the 2. He filling in for Warford, another veteran corner that's out and has been out for a couple of weeks now for Kentucky. Kentucky a little undermanned or a little underexperienced at the corner, but nice job by Burton there.
High kick angling away from Cobb. He'll watch this one bounce. And the Gamecocks down it at the 40. A 42-yard punt. 46 seconds remaining in this opening period from Columbia, South Carolina. Bob Rathman, Dave Archer, Jen Hildreth, and our crew. SEC College Football Saturday, a 7-3 South Carolina advantage. Now the Gamecocks come back out on defense as the Wildcats have the football.
Well, excellent job by Kentucky's defense to flip the field for their offense now. Had to take over the ball at the 41-yard line. Did a good job of coming in, getting a 3 and out, and giving their offense a shorter field.
Kentucky gained 9 yards in field position. Block. Dives to the 45, a 4-yard gain. Eric Norwood, the tackle. This is going to be a major focus of the Kentucky ground game. And for South Carolina's defense, they're trying to lock up a lock. That's not easy to do. This kid is terrific and coming back after a major knee injury.
Yeah, Derek comes in as the leading rusher of this football team. Great speed. He has the ability to take it the distance at any moment if he can get in space.
Hard line over the middle. Incomplete at the 50. McCaskill couldn't hang on.
Well, Mike Hartline, who's struggled the last 2 weeks, has done everything he could possibly do here early. You see Rich Brooks looking down at his hands. Can we catch the football? This is the 2nd drop on a really well-thrown ball to an inside breaking route. On an inside breaking route, we saw Randall Cobb drop what looked like maybe a touchdown. Here McCaskill drops one that's certainly going to extend the drive and get him a 1st down.
So when you look at Hartline's 4 for 7, that doesn't tell the story, does it?
Not at all.
This one is caught, and for a 1st down, Chris Matthews, the junior college transfer, goes up to get it. A 12-yard pickup. And that will bring the 1st quarter to an end. So Kentucky driving They've got the ball into South Carolina territory. We go to the second. South Carolina 7, Kentucky 3. He's the second leading receiver for the Cats so far this season. And it gives Kentucky a 1st and 10 as we begin period 2. Sideline throwing. Wide open, and the catch made at the 14-yard line. Gene McCaskill redeems himself and a 28-yard pickup.
It looked like he ran out of bounds on the play. The official standing there without a hat on is going to mark it. McCaskill gets bumped out of bounds. A little pump fake, a little out and up. Well thrown ball. Let's look down here at the bottom now. McCaskill gets jammed right there, runs out of bounds, now back in bounds, and makes the catch.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yep, got pushed out of bounds.
So a pickup of 29 yards. And now the officials stop things.
Well, they're going to mark. It was marked that he ran out of bounds. Now they're going to take another look.
Right now the ball to South Carolina 11.
The bottom of your screen, McCaskill going to release to the outside. Pushed out of bounds. Comes back in bounds and makes the catch down around the 14-yard line.
So this play under review. The shove out of bounds. And it looked like he was down at the 14. While they sort it all out, let's check our key numbers.
The receiver was forced out of bounds, came in and caught the pass. The call is confirmed. 1st down.
And our first number is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. 6 touches for Cobb all the way around, 43 all-purpose yards. Hardline 5 of 8 with 2 drops. One we feel would have been a touchdown. And the ball is spotted at the 11. 1st and 10, Kentucky. Block. Touchdown Wildcats. Spurtability out of that backfield.
Now just an excellent job. Get in behind Zip Duncan, their veteran offensive tackle, number 72. Did a good job at the point of attack. See him push Matthews wide right there. And Locke gets in behind that block. Good job by Matthews, the big receiver blocking down the field. But Locke, once he gets out in area, in space, he's very dangerous, extremely fast. You mentioned he's a track star, All-American tracker for Kentucky.
Lonas Sieber adds the PAT. And the Wildcats go back in front. Derek Locke takes it in from 11 yards away. Kentucky 10. Now Kentucky's in front, 10-7. 14:34 to go here in the second quarter. And the Cats about to kick it away. Redshirt freshman Craig McIntosh making his debut as the kickoff man. And Chris Culliver, who had that 60-yard return earlier in this first half, waiting for the Gamecocks. Cloudy afternoon here in the South Carolina capital city. 30% chance of showers. Defensive kick from the 12. Culliver waiting for a block. Cuts back. Still going. What a return. What a return. Out to the 37. This one is a 51-yarder.
What a tremendous individual effort by Culliver. Short kickoff, comes up. Now just trying to find a crease. Gets to the outside. Now the amazing part about this play is there's no illegal blocks in the back, because he changes direction about 3 or 4 times here. But he's not done yet. And that was about 2 stumbled steps for being the play of the year, maybe, right there. Unbelievable return by Culliver. Another one, his second of the day, to put South Carolina inside Kentucky's 40-yard line.
A 51-yard return north and south, and I think all told about 75 yards, maybe 80 when you go count the east-west yardage. Here's Garcia. He's running to the 32. Evans came back to make the tackle with Micah Johnson.
Another good decision by Garcia. Gets outside the pocket. Three-man route, and Kentucky done an excellent job of covering down the field. So Stephen tucked the football. Got a nice pickup, 7-yard gain for the young quarterback.
And straight ahead running is Kenny Miles to the Kentucky 28. First down, Gamecocks. Sam Maxwell the tackle.
I'd like to try to get a little bit out of your ground game. We talked about how South Carolina has improved and tried to make a little bit more of a commitment this year to run the football, because the best friend of a quarterback is a running game, because now all of a sudden play action is part of the mix, not just drop back.
End zone. The freshman. He's got it for the touchdown. He did it again. Jeffrey, a star is born in Columbia.
Oh my goodness, what a catch from the true freshman. This is a one-handed catch. Unbelievable job to answer with a tremendous catch.
I know.
And the extra point is good by Spencer Lanning. In a league that has some of the greatest receivers in college football. Wow. Alshon Jeffrey is heard from in South Carolina. All right, thank you, Fred. And the rest of the score is Army with a 3-0 lead over Vandy. The Commodores offense continues to struggle. Arkansas now 20-3 over Auburn in the second quarter. Auburn getting that 19th ranking and 5-0 record in jeopardy in Fayetteville. And Mississippi State, a good one with Houston. Adam Yates is the kickoff man for the Gamecocks. Locke and Cobb are the return men. 14-10 now, South Carolina. And down he goes. Locke to the 18, a 12-yard pickup. Take a look at that touchdown.
Yeah, let's go back to Alshon Jeffrey's touchdown. This is just a turn your big fella loose, 6'3", 220 pounds, and throw it up to him. Great job. Burden's in position to make the play. Just an outstanding individual catch by Jeffrey, one-handed stab. Now here's the touchdown that Kentucky scored. You're going to get a block here. Now right here is Eric Norwood. Watch the block from Connor right here to get Derek Locke in the end zone.
Locke steps out at the 25. Let's take another look at that Kentucky touchdown.
All right, go ahead and roll it, guys. There's the block on the outside by Zip Duncan. There's the block on Norwood right there. Tremendous block on Norwood by John Connor, and Locke gets in the end zone, but immediately answered by the Culliver return for South Carolina, and then the great catch on the outside by Alshon Jeffrey.
The Birmingham News cited John Connor, the best blocking fullback in the SEC. And you can see why. He could take out a guy like Norwood for the touchdown.
We saw Eric get blocked. This is really one of the best football players in the country, folks. This is a great block by Connor to get him on the ground. Here he plays off the edge and gets in and makes the tackle short of a first down. He's going to have to step up now. This is South Carolina defense that comes in number 3 in the SEC and stopping people, 13th in the country.
Locke has carried it 9 times for 30 yards, denied the last time by that man. And now it's 3rd down and 4 for Kentucky. Hardline, scrambling, looking, checks the sticks, dives for the first down. Does he get it? It appears so. at the 29.
Well, just an excellent job of Mike Hartline to string this play out. He's going to try to extend the play. Good coverage in the secondary from South Carolina. Really no one to throw the football to. They stay on coverage. Now watch. Hartline realizes, okay, I got to try to extend this. Somebody free up for me. Now the big fella says, I got to go get it myself. And extends the big body out at 6'5" and gets the first down. Great job, Hartline, to extend the play and then get the first down.
Out of the Wildcat, here comes Randall. And South Carolina all over that. Out to the 32. Devin Taylor led the charge. Randall Cobb giving Hartline a breather as they run the Wildcat out to the 32.
Gain of 3. Second and 7. Ball down to 32.
You keep mixing those type of plays in if you're Rich Brooks. You keep mixing in the Randall Cobb out of the Wildcat. Make it tough for South Carolina to adjust defensively to what you're going to give them personnel group wise.
Pressure from the edge. And a great pass to Cobb. Can they catch him? Yes, he's out of bounds at the 13. Gilmore ran him down, but how about the catch and go by Randall Cobb? 55-yard gain.
Just a stand-up, throw it outside, screen one-on-one to Cobb on the outside. He just needs to get one block. Cobb way out right. Got a blitz from the secondary. He has to make one man miss, gets the block right there from Matthews, and then Cobb off to the run. Now Matthews got to find one guy to block. He gets that block right there, and Cobb makes the other defender miss, and now Kentucky in the red zone.
A 55-yard gain, 1st and 10 Kentucky. And down to the field in Jen.
Well, you know, talking about Randall Cobb, you guys, it's his switch to wide receiver this year. He does still line up as quarterback in that Wildcat formation. And it was great talking to Rich Brooks. He said this guy didn't flinch when we asked him about making that switch. And it fits his personality. When we talked to him, how many times did he not finish a sentence with the words, I'm going to do whatever the team needs? And you can really see that in his play, willing literally to do whatever his team needs, whatever position they need out there.
Yeah, Mr. Football in 2007 at Alcoa High School in Tennessee. Played quarterback, led his team 27-3 as a quarterback, but he said, hey, whatever you want me to do, I'll do.
Over the century mark in all-purpose yardage. 2nd down, and the handoff to Locke. He'll take it down for about a 3-yard gain, nor would the tackle. And Kentucky will have it at about the 7-yard line.
This is where Joker Phillips in his play calling for Kentucky does a great job of putting defenses in a bind, because they do a really good job with their short passing game. We've seen a number of players open. There's Joker right here standing up. He's wringing the hands, trying to make the throw for Hartline right now. They're going to have to burn a timeout. They didn't get the play and they wanted, but he does an outstanding job. He's the head coach in waiting for Kentucky. Joker is a guy that can flat coach. This guy right here.
And a former assistant coach here at South Carolina, ironically. A timeout. We'll be right back. 14-10 South Carolina. Our thumb it in poll question today: the greatest coach in the history of the SEC. Pick from the Bear right on down through that list of immortals. Fred Hickman in our Atlanta studios will update throughout the show today and give you the results. Standard text rates apply. And that man has to be figured in top 10 coaches of all time.
Yeah, well, I would think so. 174 wins in his career.
He is one of 6 FBS coaches that are 100 games over 500 in his career. After the timeout, Kentucky looking at a 3rd and 4. Hartline throws, it's caught, and it is a touchdown for Kentucky. Randall Cobb makes the grab and takes it in, and it's the Wildcats back in front.
Talked about Joker Phillips' design of this offense and the short passing attack. They don't know who's coming to the inside, and what Steve Spurrier designed, they're upset about the fact they couldn't find him. Here comes Cobb, a little delay to the inside. Matthews cleans it out for him. He catches the inside route. It's actually the same route he dropped earlier in the game that might have been a touchdown on the other end of the field.
Jonas Sieber with the extra point. So the Wildcats reclaim a 3-point lead. 9:06 to go in the second. Great one going in Columbia. Fourth touchdown reception this year for Randall Cobb. Hardline 6th touchdown pass. Culliver, who's given the Gamecocks 130 return yards, sits this one out. Bryce Sherman, the walk-on from Winston-Salem. Sherm the Worm is waiting to return this one for South Carolina. Bryce Sherman from the 10. Nice cutback. And the return out to the 30.
Bob, Steven Garcia came into this game playing extremely well, and he has not let us down today. He's done a great job of taking care of the football. He's been on target with throws. Alshon Jeffrey has stepped up big time for him with 2 touchdown receptions and a big one-handed stab there. But Steven Garcia giving his players an opportunity to make plays. He's continued his outstanding play that we thought he was going to get when we came in today.
Hitting on 60% of his passes coming into the game, and 4 of 7 in the first half this afternoon. Gamecocks get it back, trailing 3, and on the toss, it comes to Kenny Miles, and he'll take it out for a good gain on first down, about the 38.
Nice little design there, a little play fake to the inside to freeze the Kentucky defense, a little freeze option pitch to the outside, and that's really what Carolina needs. They need to get some plays on first down that are positive in the run game so they can do some of the play action stuff they'd like to do.
And a penalty flag.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 66 on offense, penalty 5 yards, down remain second.
And this is the frustration level that hits Steve Spurrier. Coach Spurrier wants to be able to do some stuff at the line of scrimmage, and if you can't hold your water as an offensive line while the play's being changed, that's going to get the ire of that man right there. And whenever the bill is pulled way down on the cap, stay away from him. Don't go see him. Don't go talk to him. In fact, if the cap is thrown onto the ground, not a good time to go see him either.
Garcia is under pressure, and Garcia gets pulled from behind by Corey Peters, and down he goes for a 7-yard loss. Boy, Corey Peters has really been terrific in this game.
Outstanding job of penetration from Peters. You're going to get him from right here. Going to penetrate through that gap, the guard center gap. Immediately makes Garcia change his set point, which allows other Kentucky defenders to get there. See, as soon as you can move the quarterback's feet, now he's not set to throw the football, and other defenders are able to rally and help Peters get Garcia on the ground.
Great pressure. He leads Kentucky in quarterback hurries this season. Well, this drive going backwards for the Gamecocks. Now 3rd and 15. And a stretch out grab at the 40-yard line. It is complete to Jeffrey one more time.
You talk about a breakout game now. Jeffrey, who'd come in and sprinkled a few catches here and there during the season, he's made some circus catches. How about this back shoulder throw from Garcia and an outstanding catch from the young receiver.
A 15-yard pickup gives South Carolina the first down at the 40, and Jeffrey now up to 53 receiving yards. Those 2 touchdown grabs were spectacular.
That catch right there didn't take a back seat to the 2 touchdown
You're
grab.
right.
Excellent grab.
He'll come to him on the near side. He's got another one. And Burton, the defender. First down, South Carolina.
Well, Randall Burton is not going to want to watch this film. He's done a great job of being in the hip pocket of Jeffrey, but this is just a physical play. Garcia just tees him up. See, bump and run coverage, get in his hip pocket. Now find the football, but just an outstanding throw to the outside shoulder, and a good job of the big receiver, 6'3", 220, going up and squeezing it.
Alshon Jeffrey came in with 5 catches all season. Garcia throws, and this one's intercepted by Kentucky. Sam Maxwell still going. 34. So Garcia's streak ends, and Kentucky gets the football back.
Boy, Stephen had played so clean, and you can see how upset Steve Spurrier is. Done a great job of being clean with the football, but this was a late throw over the middle. Mike Hartline learned this lesson last week, and it's one Garcia is going to have to take into the film room with him on Monday. It's just a poor job of taking care of the football in that situation.
Kentucky football from the 34 hard line. The backside pressure gets away, and the pass is complete out to Locke.
Well, we've seen Garcia tuck the football in this situation twice in the game. Now here's one that he forces over the middle, and Maxwell's right in position to take the ball away. Whenever you throw it back over the middle after you've moved, timing changes. Another one of those ones that Stephen might have could have tucked or thrown out of bounds. I think Coach Spurrier would have preferred he threw that into the cheap seats.
2nd down and 1 for Kentucky. Eric Locke close to the first down at the 44, just shy of the hash mark, it seems.
Kentucky doing a good job of getting their playmakers the ball. We talked about Locke. We talked about Cobb. Cobb made the big run on the screen to get him in scoring range in the last drive, and Locke just made a great catch prior to this play. They got him in a second and short situation. It looks like he may be close to a first down here. So Locke and Cobb carrying the load, and Hartline playing extremely clean at the quarterback spot right now.
Third and inches. Third down. .5:35 and the clock now running. Hardline denied.
He got a pretty good spot from the official at the top, but it didn't look like he got much push. Good job inside by South Carolina, but it looked like Hartline might have gotten enough on the spot to maybe nose the football across the first down line. Boy, good job interior by the interior defensive line of South Carolina.
The stretch.
Just the nose.
And Rich Brooks breathes a sigh of relief, and that'll give him a first down and 10. These two coaches understand, and you've talked about it, Dave, the importance of this game. Rich Brooks has seen his club come up with a big turnover to stymie some South Carolina momentum.
And when they've gotten the ball back, they've done something with it. Kentucky's been extremely active and playmaking when their offense has been on the field.
Block. As the Gamecocks come up, shut that one down for no gain. True freshman Devontae Holloman with the tackle. Here's our Geico quote of the week from Coach Brooks. If we want to go to our 4th bowl game in a row, our season begins today.
Yeah, and that was a message he handed down to his team all week. That, hey, we lost to the 1 and 3 teams in the country, but hey, we've still got a chance to do some of the things we want to do, and that's go to a 4th bowl game.
Tough yards this time for Monsell Allen. He's a junior out of New Orleans, displaced by Katrina to Charlotte, North Carolina. Devin Taylor, 98 for South Carolina, with that tackle, a redshirt freshman.
One of those third. This would be a category. This is a 3rd and long. Whenever it's 7+, this is right in that 7-8 yard range. Hartline's done a good job of taking care of the ball in these situations.
Kentucky 6 of 9 on 3rd downs this afternoon. A bobble. The throw down the sideline. Incomplete. Too tall. Matthews would have been out of bounds had he caught it, it appears. And so Kentucky will punt it away.
And really a poor job by Matthews to save any room on the sideline for Hartline to get that in. He got pushed to the sideline, was running right up the hash marks on the sideline, that jut out from the sideline markers, and just a good job by Gilmore, the true freshman, to get in his hip pocket. And really no place for Hartline to throw that one.
So we're ready. Ryan Tidlochka, the punter. And for the Gamecocks, Gilmore, the deep man. And this will be down by Kentucky at the 31-yard line. A timeout with 3:44 to go in the second. 17-14.
If you just extend that elbow a little bit, you can get away with it. And Randall Burton is not going to be excited about seeing number 1. Burton just a sophomore, Jeffrey a true freshman. Those two are going to battle for the next couple of years.
Last week against South Carolina State, Jeffrey had his first touchdown of his career. But this is the game that all Gamecock fans will be talking about. And it's a long way from being over. Middle to Barnes. Barnes over the 45 and near midfield, an 18-yard pickup. Winston Guy the tackle.
Yeah, excellent design here, Coach Spurrier. They're going to fake. They're going to pump fake the screen left and go middle screen to Barnes back to the inside. Good job of the offensive line releasing up the field, getting a hat on a defender and creating some room. All you're trying to create at that point is kind of a punt return situation. Get a hat on the defender and let Barnes run to daylight.
17-yard pickup for Jason Barnes. Kentucky showing a little blitz action now over the midfield stripe, and powering down is Brian Maddox, picking up 4 to the Kentucky 48-yard line.
You mentioned Maddox and power. That's really kind of who he is. They have 3 backs they play: Miles, Giles, and now Maddox. And he is kind of the driver, the pile driver of the two. 225 pounds, or the 3, 225 pounds, and did a good job of moving the stack there.
Garcia throwing near side, and it's complete to Mo Brown. Mo had the big game last week, overshadowed by Jeffrey today. Mo makes a nice grab and a first down.
Now, good job of Garcia getting it out. Didn't wait a long time. See, the ball was a little behind me, but because he got it out on time, he was able to beat the defender to the flat with the throw and pick the first down up.
Jeffrey waiting for his next opportunity. Gamecocks looking at 2 minutes plus before the end of the half, down 3. The toss comes to Maddox. Benton dropped for a 1-yard gain by Winston Guy.
Good job, Kentucky, understanding what was going on for Carolina that time. South Carolina wanted to try to throw a show pitch left, pitch right, and then really counter back to the left side. Kentucky was having none of it and stopped Maddox for minimal gain.
Winston Guy, the sophomore from Lexington, he's a hitter, second on the club in tackles with 29, had 11 in that Louisville victory.
You talk to Steve Brown, their defensive coordinator. He loves Winston Guy. He thinks he has a chance to be a star in this league.
Garcia shovels it, loose ball, and incomplete. That's an incomplete forward pass.
Michael Johnson on coverage for Kentucky.
Well, a lot of times it's about decision making at the quarterback spot. Steven Garcia has a decision to make here. Do I keep this and let Maddox block for me, or do I shovel him the ball, which kind of puts it in harm's way? Again, when he gets in the quarterback session with G.A. Mangus, the quarterback coach, and Steve Spurrier, that they're going to want the young quarterback to tuck that one away.
3rd and 10. Jumping on his back is Corey Peters. Boy, he has had a terrific first half.
Well, give Peters credit for the sack here, and he deserves it, but it's the outside rush that forces Garcia back inside. Here's Peters right here. Now he's going to be the benefactor of an outside pressure rush. They do a good job of getting upfield, force Garcia back to the inside, and Peters is there waiting at the D tackle spot to get the sack. So Peters gets the sack, but go ahead and give an assist. Those 2 outside guys coming off the edge.
That'll probably be deep for Kentucky and Spencer Lanning.
There's Peters' numbers with 4 tackles and 2 sacks today. That gives him 10 sacks in his career. 37 seconds and counting first half. And the Gamecocks forced a punt here on 4th down. And now a penalty flag as the play clock runs out.
Dead ball, delay of game, penalty decline, 4th down.
Bobby mentioned Corey Peters, and it's his 2nd sack on the day. He had a sack last year against South Carolina, so he's enjoyed playing against the Gamecocks. His 25th consecutive start as a Kentucky Wildcat.
And it's out of bounds. Terrific kick. Kentucky will be backed up at the 3. Coming up, the Toyota halftime report. Fred Hickman raring to go in our studio, catching us up on everything that's happening on a very busy afternoon in the SEC. The big games later, of course, at Oxford and Baton Rouge, highlights and scores. And he'll update our text poll as to who's the greatest coach in the history of the ACC. Good looking fella.
And we'd like to point out on the text question that you and I did not pick out anybody that's on the team. So who's ever coach got left off the list, we didn't do it.
Can't stick it on the ground, and that will likely be the final play of the half. John Connor locked that one up, took it out about a yard or 2.
Yeah, Coach Spurrier burned a timeout there. He wants to try to get a punt.
They have 2 timeouts remaining. Southeastern Conference football is brought to you by Toyota, by Phillips HD, by Geico, by the United States Marine Corps, and by Crystal. Now, knowing that Spurrier's got 2 timeouts in his pocket, what is the strategy for Kentucky to try to burn a little clock here?
Well, I don't think they're going to do anything that's going to put the ball in harm's way. Remember last week against Alabama, in great position near the end of the half, a ball thrown over the middle is jarred in the air, and Alabama returns it for a touchdown. That game went from being 14-6 to 21-6 and out of hand a little bit. I don't think that Kentucky is going to do anything to put themselves in harm's way. But Steve Spurrier realizes Kentucky had 2 or 3 punts blocked last year. Florida blocked 2 punts against Kentucky last season in the same area.
And again, the handoff. And again, the clock stops. John Connor takes it out. Just a couple of yards to the 8. That stops it with 13 seconds. And Steve Spurrier's got 1 timeout left.
Steve knows that he's got a specially designed punt block. Shane Beamer, his special teams coach, is going to have something designed to give them an opportunity to get after the punter.
Rich Brooks has done just a tremendous job with bowl victories the last 3, and he's complaining right now, but nothing to complain about with what they've done lately.
Well, and it's really helped them when you start talking about what he's done to upgrade the talent level at Kentucky. Their ability to do all these kind of things, go and win 3 straight bowl games. The talent level has improved dramatically under Rich Brooks' watch. I mean, when he got there, they couldn't compete on the SEC level. Now they are a team that you better line up and be ready to play Kentucky every Saturday, or they will beat you.
I think what Rich was complaining about, Dave, only 3 seconds elapsed on that last play. Derek Locke will move it out to the 11. And it will be 4th down. So the Gamecocks are going to get the ball back and, of course, do everything they can to try to block one here.
If you're wondering about Spencer Lanning's ability to kick field goals, he's 10 of 11 on the year. His long, though, is 41 yards.
Watch the 2009 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. So it'll be 4th down out to about the 11-yard line. It is a first half that has seen it go back and forth. Kentucky with the touchdown pass to Cobb now leading at 17-14. But Steve Spurrier wringing every second possible out of this first half.
Well, and remember, South Carolina's blocked some kicks this season. They blocked a field goal last week. They blocked a punt earlier in the year. Eric Norwood will line up right over the center now, and Eric has the 2 blocks on the year for this this block unit.
Tidlotzka from his own end zone. And the catch is made. The clock shows 0-0. So Tidlotzka did a great job to get some hang time. And watch that clock run out, denying Spurrier and the Gamecocks a chance for a potential field goal that would have tied it. So Kentucky heads to its locker room, South Carolina to its. And it's the Gamecocks trailing here. Kentucky in front 17-14.
Bob, I talked to Steve Spurrier coming back on the field. I said, all right, before the interception, what did you feel encouraged about with your offense? He said, well, Alshon Jeffrey said he's making catches. Otherwise, we're not really doing anything. He knows they've got to come out and stop Kentucky defensively because they just haven't had the ball.
Kentucky will receive to begin the second half. And the cat, oh, is that a face mask? It is. Quinn Smith got him around the throat. Now they're talking about it.
It looked like he might have been underneath the face mask. It certainly was the old clothesline tackle.
Personal foul against the return team. 15 yards, first down.
So that will tack on the additional yardage. Let's take a look.
Let's see if Quinn gets his hand around. Nope, he was underneath the face mask. And that was the huddle. The huddle was, did he grab the mask? And he's not under the mask. He's on the, it looked like he was around the neck. Now, right at the end, maybe grab the earpiece of the helmet, which would constitute a face mask, but I didn't see it there. I think that just a bang play, and the officials had a tough time seeing that one.
Kentucky will get the ball to 46 after the penalty. We begin the third quarter. Good pursuit by Norwood. This is what you were talking about at the top of our telecast.
Watch him avoid the block. He'll step around the block right there and make the play. Not sure why Kristen Johnson turned him down. He should have kicked Norwood out. He just kind of stepped around him, and Norwood just closes. 8 tackles on the day. He's going to have to be more of a disruptive force here in the second half for South Carolina. They have not been as dominant defensively as they have been in the first 5 games this year.
2nd and 10. And the kick, oh, it's incomplete. At the 33, Chris Matthews trying to hang on. G.J. Schwanger making the tackle.
Well, a true freshman, G.J. Schwanger, gets his ball out because this is a pretty well thrown ball on the move. Matthews just can't quite squeeze it, and then the young man gets in there and strips it out, Schwanger. And that makes it 3rd and long. But you saw there a little bit more pressure from South Carolina, made Hartline move his feet, couldn't set and throw it on time. Well, they've done an outstanding job on 3rd down. Now it's 3rd and long, a little bit different. A little bit different situation.
They have missed their last 3 3rd down attempts. Hardline under pressure, throws it away. It's going to be incomplete. Hardline is down. Stewart with the pressure. And Hardline limps off.
Well, this is a tough situation because Darian Stewart is going to blitz right into his face, and I think Mike's trying to be tough here rather than being prudent and getting on the ground, letting his people check him out, because looks like he gets the knee hyperextended.
Ball being snapped, delay of game. The play clock expired. Penalty be 5 yards. Down remains 3rd.
Now, Darian Stewart is going to blitz into Hartline's face. He's going to have Norwood coming off the backside. He feels Norwood coming off the backside, so he's going to move. And here's Darian Stewart. Watch the left leg kind of stick in the ground right there. And then you get the leg whip hyperextension of the knee right there. Boy, I hope that's not as bad as it looked right there. But he has played really, really well today. Very confident kid, tough kid.
So Hardline is injured and being attended to, and a break in the action. We'll be right back. Well, with Mike Hardline now on the sideline for Kentucky, all eyes on Will Fiddler, the backup quarterback who has precious little playing time in his history.
Just 9 attempts on his career, young career, just 6 games. Only played in 6 career games. He's 6 of 9, 55 yards. And a young man that's going to have to learn in a hurry. He's a junior. He's been around the program for a while. Out of Henderson, Kentucky. Had an outstanding high school career. Threw for over 9,000 yards. 92 touchdowns for Fiddler, but he has not played much at all at this level.
He's faced with a 3rd and 15 after the penalty. And he's going to air it out right away. Incomplete. Up for grabs. Whitlock had his hands on it, intended for Matthews.
Well, a little surprising that Joker had him throw the football down the field. Joker Phillips, the offensive coordinator, thought maybe that was going to be a draw play, but I don't think they wanted to. They obviously didn't want to give up their great field position they had right there. Ball at the 41-yard line. But a tough situation for a quarterback to come in off the sideline cold and throw a go route down the sideline on 3rd and long, no less.
Ryan Tidlaska is averaging 40 yards a punt this year. So far today, 32. Gilmore waiting. That's going to bounce and kick into the end zone for the touchback. 59-yard punt. Off the old average. 13:46 to play. 3rd quarter. South Carolina trailing 17-14. So the Gamecocks get it back.
Probably talked about how young this South Carolina team is. A number of players defensively young. We talked about Alshon Jeffrey. Just a team that really is trying to find themselves. Jen talked about how Coach Spurrier wasn't sure what he had yet. And I think that this is going to be a character building type game now for South Carolina, trailing at the half in a game they feel like they may have the upper hand going in.
Garcia rolls, finds Jeffrey, and he keeps it going down that sideline. Gets the first down. Out to the 32. 12-yard pickup.
You know, and mentioning how young this football team is, Bob, it's dramatic when you start talking about fewest number of seniors. Leadership now does the fewest number of seniors in the FBS category, and Boise State is the only team with fewer seniors. So unbelievable.
Maddox takes it out to the 34-yard line. We did see for Kentucky Randall Burton, corner, go out of the game with what looked to be a shoulder injury. We'll keep an eye on that. It's 2nd down and long.
And that will bring in the true freshman that's from right here in South Carolina, from Burns High School in Duncan, South Carolina. Cartier Rice, a kid they're very excited about, but just another young kid that hasn't played very much is now going to be out on the corner. And guess who he draws in his first assignment? Alshon Jeffrey.
Garcia, white shirts around him. And down at the 37, Ricky Lumpkin in pursuit.
You'll see Stephen Garcia as he moves on in his career. That ball's going to sail out of bounds. He's not going to take the hit there for 2 yards.
3rd and 6 from the 36. You see the Gamecocks on 3rd downs. Garcia moves under center. To the sideline. That's going to be over the head of Gurley. Incomplete. For an update on the condition of quarterback Mike Hardline, let's go to Jen.
Well, I've been watching him down here on the sideline. They've told us it's a twisted knee, but he seems very upset. Threw his helmet down. He's got that knee up and iced. You know what that means, usually not good. And you just really feel for the guy after the first half he put in, and visibly frustrated and upset down here, guys.
Jen, it was easily his first half of the season in SEC play at this level of football. He was playing extremely well. He really was giving them an opportunity to win the football game.
Now Spencer Lanning's punt. Randall Cobb backpedaling. Breaks that first wave. He takes it out to about the 17. 56-yard punt. 11:41 to play. Third quarter. From Columbia, South Carolina. Cats clinging to a 3-point lead. Back in Columbia, South Carolina. Quarterback Will Fiddler takes over for the Kentucky Wildcats for the injured Mike Hardline. A 17-14 Kentucky advantage. And Locke will take it straight ahead to the 20. Dave Archer, what is the mindset of the backup quarterback as he gets thrown into the fray?
Well, you're always taking mental reps. You've been watching the game on the sidelines. You've been watching it unfold, trying to maybe been charting secondary looks, what you've been seeing. But it's always very difficult to then physically implement what you've been seeing. He probably hasn't gotten very many reps during the week, so he's coming in a little bit under the gun. I would expect him to use Randall Cobb a little bit more, which we'll see here at the quarterback spot.
Out of the Wildcat set, and a penalty flag.
South Carolina stimming along the defensive front, and Zip Duncan had a tough time holding his water there.
Prior to the snap, false start, 78 on the offense, 25 yards, down remains second.
Call that one on Christian Johnson, but Zip Duncan jumped as well at the entire left side of Kentucky's line. And South Carolina trying to change their defensive front, confuse the blocking scheme for Kentucky, moving around up front defensively.
Fiddler waits and gets. Nice stick on, but he can only get it back to the line of scrimmage. Tony Slaughter, the backup linebacker, came up, lost his helmet, but made the hit.
Excellent job by Straughter. Junior college transfer from Georgia Military College, does a great job of shooting inside and really paid no attention to any kind of shovel pass or anything that Fiddler might have been trying to get to. Just immediately got on the quarterback. Good closing speed.
3rd and 12. At one point, Kentucky was 6 for 8 on 3rd downs. Incomplete, intended for Matthews. And spanning the 2 halves, that's the 3rd straight 3 and out for the Cats. There is a penalty.
Looks like a hands to the face or a face mask on the offensive line. I would assume they could still, if they're in 3rd long, we wouldn't want to repeat the down. I would think they'd decline this penalty.
Personal foul, hands to the face. Number 72 on the offense. The penalty declined. 4th down.
Ryan Tidlochka comes in to punt. And Stephon Gilmore, the true freshman from Rock Hill, South Carolina, awaits. Ryan getting set for his 5th punt of the game. And South Carolina has a chance here, some outstanding field position.
And Gilmore's a kid that's used to having the ball in his hands. He played quarterback at Rock Hill at South Point High School. He's used to catching the football and doing something with it.
Good pressure, forces a short punt. It gets a big Kentucky bounce. It picked up about 10-12 yards, and it will be down to the 39. It turns into a 46-yard punt. But still an advantage in the exchange of punts as South Carolina picks up close to 20 yards in field position.
Coach Spurrier always coaching. Was disappointed there. Had a little word for Gilmore as he left the field. Hey kid, you got to catch that ball for us now. That'll give us 15 yards. Did I sound like you, Bob?
That was pretty good. I like that.
It cost the 15 yards, ball hitting the ground.
And you didn't throw your visor. Now Steven Garcia. He'll fake the belly and run it himself. Head down out to the 45-yard line. Alvin Harrison, senior from Columbia, in a homecoming game of sorts with a tackle for Kentucky.
Now, Garcia is a tough kid. He likes to tuck it in. We've seen him run with it. That was a little zone read play. It's something, just not something they want to feature. They just want to keep Kentucky honest on the edge so they don't crash all the running plays from the defensive end spot. That's how he pulled it and got a nice pickup.
To the Kentucky 40-yard line. Kenny Miles, the redshirt freshman, with a good break as he got past that line, turned it into a 14-yard gain.
Yeah, let's watch Jason Barnes here, big wide receiver, 6 feet, 6'4", 200 pounds. Gets a great block out on the edge and allows Miles. Anytime you crack it and get into that third level, into the secondary, you can bet that wide receivers are doing a great job blocking. Good job there by Jason Barnes.
4 receivers at the top of your screen, and here comes the pass, and turns into about a 3-yard gain. Bo Brown was in the middle of that pile. He made the reception.
Yeah, just displaced both running backs. DeMarco, the fullback, and Miles, the running back, got out in that bunch look out wide, just threw a screen outside trying to get Mo Brown some running room. Same look here.
They go away from it, and they tee up the freshman, and Jeffrey takes it out of bounds at the 17. A 21-yard gain.
What they're going to do is look up here. They're going to isolate Nellums and Jeffrey right here, one-on-one. They've pulled all the defenders out of the way, let those two work one-on-one. Great job of spinning out, and Jeffrey gets up the field for a big pickup on really just a 5-yard throw for Garcia.
Officially 21 yards on the completion. First and 10 for the Gamecocks. Kentucky 17 to the end zone, and this time through the hands and out of bounds. Jeffrey and Nellums once again one-on-one.
We see the confidence that Garcia's got, and he's made a couple catches in this game, and this is one where you think, boy, he should have had this. I mean, he's become that in this game, that he's made so many circus catches, you kind of expect him to come up with that. That was an extremely difficult catch there.
116 yards is a season high for a South Carolina receiver this year in one game. Garcia over the middle. Miles, penalty flag down. Miles. And he's going to be marked short of the line, but we got a flag back at the 22. Holding coming.
Oh, it's that dangerous area holding. Boy, excellent setup of the middle screen to Miles, and then great tough running at the end.
Holding on the left guard. 10 yards to be 10 yards from the previous spot. 3 plays, second down.
Number 74 right there in the middle of your screen, right here. There's the hold. Nullifies an outstanding play. What an excellent call for it, too. They hadn't shown screen through the middle in about a quarter or so, and slipped Miles. They hadn't really screened to the back at all. Everything had been outside the receivers, and you slipped Miles in there. Just a nice call by Coach Spurrier.
Ryan Maddox is the setback now behind Garcia. All day to throw, and Maddox comes across to get it at about the 22. 6-yard pickup. It would be second down. Sam Maxwell coming up for the hit.
Well, Stevens made one bad throw. He had the ball picked off by Maxwell in the middle, but he shows a tremendous amount of progress in his decision making there. You take him back a year ago, he would have tried to pump that ball down the middle to a covered receiver, a safety over the top. But this time he realizes, hey, I'm in field goal range. I'm going to drop it off, see if my guy can make a play, and reload on 3rd down and see if I can make a play here.
3rd and 14. Kentucky brings it pressure. The throw to the end zone, and it's going to be caught for a touchdown. Jeffrey's 3rd of the game. Sam Maxwell with the blitz. Garcia lets it go, and Jeffrey found the football.
But you don't think he's going to throw to Alshon Jeffrey the rest of the year, do you? I mean, what a great job, great arm strength to get the ball up. He recognized pre-snap that Jeffrey was one-on-one on the outside. Blitz from Maxwell coming off the edge, and he just hung it for the touchdown.
Lanning's kick is good. And a timeout. 6:29 to go, 3rd quarter. The Gamecocks in front thanks to this freshman. My goodness, what a day. Our 5th lead change of the day, and it's now South Carolina 21, Kentucky 17. Alshon Jeffrey is going to be known from sea to shining sea after this one. What a performance. His 3rd touchdown catch, and we'll show it to you here in just a moment. Derek Locke and Randall Cobb with the deep men. You're looking at Locke there. And it's Adam Yates to kick it away for the South Carolina Gamecocks. 21-17 USC. Good return in the middle. Out to the 40-yard line by Locke. Let's take a look at the touchdown.
Yeah, I want you to watch Stephen Garcia here. He's going to confirm that the safety stays in the middle field. You see his eyes looking this direction. He knows he's got one-on-one to the left side. Now he didn't realize that the backer's right in his face. Great arm strength to just hang it and let Jeffrey go get it. And Jeffrey's 3rd touchdown on the year. Bob, what is that? That's you got to go all the way back to September of 2006 and Sidney Rice, I believe.
That's the school record of 5 touchdown catches in one game. So now Will Fiddler in relief of Mike Hardline as Kentucky's trailing by 4. And Derek Locke gets to the outside and running room in front of him. And Kentucky comes back with a big play to the Gamecock 29.
Boy, huge play by Kentucky's offensive line to create an opportunity for Locke to slide to the backside, get the cutback, and get in the hole. He's going to start right. He's going to find a hole, slide all the way back to the backside. Good job of keeping Norwood wide, and then Locke with his great speed gets it inside the 30-yard line.
A 31-yard gain, 1st and 10 at the Gamecock 29-yard line. And wasn't that just what Kentucky needed? The throw is complete. Outside of the 25 and down to the 18-yard line to Gene McCaskill. An 11-yard gain, and Kentucky's moving the chains.
Good job. They needed to get Fiddler a completion. They moved the pocket a little bit for him. Comes off play fake, and good easy throw to the outside wide. Kid's got a big arm. We talked about his numbers in high school. Went to Henderson High School in Kentucky. Had prolific numbers, over 9,000 yards throwing the ball. So he just needs to get his feet under him.
Locke bottled up, reverses his field, and is dropped for a 2-yard loss. Pressure that time from Cliff Matthews. Earlier today, we pointed him out as a guy to watch. A terrific motor. He can go sideline to sideline with the best of them.
Well, when they put the film on, this is the guy they want to look at. And the South Carolina players realize if they're not matching the intensity of that kid right there, Cliff Matthews, then they're not playing to South Carolina's expectations. They may not have all the tackles or all the sacks, but he's certainly around the play and running on every snap.
Incomplete, and over the head of McCaskill.
And this is part of getting your feet under you as a quarterback. You've been standing on the sidelines, so the speed of the game, you're trying to get used to when you got to get that ball out. The time clock in your head with your outside receiver. This ball's turned loose just a little bit too early. He's a little too tall with it. Maybe more too tall than too early. Just getting a feel for being on the field and when the ball comes out, trajectory, all that stuff.
Kentucky has come up empty on each of its last 5 third-down attempts. Rich Brooks, 3rd and long here, 3rd and 12 from the South Carolina 20. On the draw, the man they call Turtle takes it down to the 13, Monsell Allen rather, and a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, that's Joker Phillips trying to manage the game for Will Fiddler. Just making sure the young man doesn't put the ball in harm's way where they're going to be able to get the 3 points and get something out of this drive. It was a good positive drive. Big run by Locke set it up, and he wanted to come out of here with points. He didn't want to throw an interception on 3rd and long.
Lonas Seamer had a 36-yard. Now Seamer's trying this one from 32 to pull Kentucky within 1. And now it's going to be a fake. And out of bounds goes Randall Cobb. South Carolina gets it on down. C.C. Whitlock making the big play.
Trying to get the ball in Cobb's hands. Trying to run it to a medium situation with Monsell Allen. Fake all the way. Trying to get Cobb out on the edge. Just an excellent job by C.C. Whitlock to really play his position. He's told in this situation, you're not to rush. You're just to keep contained. He does a great job. It's a freshman corner doing his job on special teams. And then Darian Stewart gets up and bumps him out of bounds. So really good team defense that time by South Carolina.
Gamecocks take over 1st and 10 at the 17, leading 21-17. Garcia will hand it off, and it's going to be Giles to take it out over the 20. A penalty flag to the 23-yard line on the advance.
Five men in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, down remains 1st.
So they'll step it off, and it will be a 1st and 15. Tomorrow, NFL Sunday on Fox, the Cowboys look to get back on track against Kansas City. On one of these other games, then at 4 Eastern, you'll see the Falcons take on the 49ers. Coverage begins with America's #1 pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. Boy, that is going to be a big one out in San Fran tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, what a great job Mike Singletary has done to tighten that ship up out in San Francisco.
In the middle to Giles. 2 of the penalty yards back. And it's going to be 2nd down.
See what they're trying to accomplish with that play. Had two receivers in the same area, kind of sat it down. Giles and a receiver looked like Gurley maybe coming from the other side, and it's kind of jumbled, and Garcia had a tough time finding his receiver for a minimal gain.
Garcia will run it. Looking for that stick, and it's taken away by Kentucky. They're going to blow it dead. Garcia was going for the chain on that far side, and Taylor Wyndham, the guy who had the big hit on Tebow a couple of weeks ago, came up with the football. Let's see what happened at the end of this play. Kentucky coaches on the field. Let's see.
Yeah, just a great job of stripping it out. Now it's whether Garcia was out of bounds before the ball came out.
It's under review.
No, the ball's out.
That's a live ball. That should be a fumble.
Well, what a great job of stripping the ball out.
Wyndham made the strip. Harrison the recovery.
Now, we talked to Steve yesterday, Steve Spurrier, and he talked about how Garcia, he loves his toughness, loves where he is decision-making time. but there's been some times in the season. He had a big fumble against Ole Miss and another huge fumble here down in his own end running with the ball. His ball security when he decides to tuck it and run has not been there. And defensive players have taught when a quarterback decides to run with it, he's not going to be as good at protecting the football. You just don't go through the ball drills as a quarterback, the gauntlet drills, stripping out. You don't go through those things. That's got to be something you keep in your mind, that you're going to take care of it when you get out and put yourself in harm's way. And just a really good job of the Kentucky defender right there. Wyndham stripping it out. Excellent job. Taylor Wyndham, another one of these young kids making a play, another freshman.
And a South Carolinian. You know, we talked about Joker Phillips and this Kentucky offense. You know, assistant coach here in South Carolina, and obviously made some deep inroads into South Carolina high school football.
Yeah, they really have. And they've, we mentioned the recruiting and how Rich Brooks and the wins and what, you know, there's Joker.
Ruling on the field is confirmed. First down.
Talked about Joker Phillips and the kind of the head coach in waiting. Steve Brown, the defensive coordinator for an NFL corner. He's a guy at some point is probably going to be a coach at the major college level, should be anyway. Good staff at Kentucky.
Derek Locke is the tailback. Kentucky now 1st and 10 at the South Carolina 15. Locke, a big hole. Closed quickly, but he does take it down to the 11 before Chris Culliver made the stop. He'll be marked at the 12, a gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7 from the 12.
A big momentum changer after South Carolina had seized the lead and had some momentum of their own after the fake punt, a fake field goal attempt went awry. A penalty as the carry takes it down to the 10 by Derek Locke. Under 2 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Ellis Johnson, defensive coordinator here in South Carolina, is an aggressive guy by design. He recruits players that he can get after the quarterback with, and I think the mentality here is he's trying to create something, a blocking scheme issue. There's Ellis right here. Blocking scheme issue, something for Kentucky to try to create a field goal, push him into a field goal situation.
Five men in the backfield on the offense. Penalty 5 yards. Down remains 2nd.
You know, if you're Coach Johnson, you're looking at this situation, and I got a new quarterback, and he hasn't played hardly at all. Do you trust your young corners? Because you got young people on the edge too. And do I come with pressure? Try to get Norwood clean and let him come after the passer. Norwood is lined at the top of the screen on the edge.
Norwood's coming, but it's backside pressure that got him. And that time, the Gamecocks come with one of their young people that you talked about. It's going to be the sophomore Winfield who came up to make the play.
Yeah, going to come off the edge to the right side of the screen here, coming on a blitz from the secondary, not accounted for in protection. Again, the quarterback not used to being in the game, hadn't seen all these looks. Good play there. Bound up some pressure.
Alonzo Winfield from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. 3rd and 12. Fiddler has time over the middle. Incomplete, and would have been a touchdown. T.C. Drake, the tight end, just could not squeeze that baby.
Boy, it's an extremely well thrown ball by Fiddler. He gets a great protection up front. He's clean, got a good look at it, and really put it on Drake with the throw. Just could not squeeze it in front of Darian Stewart. Boy, good read by the quarterback. Good job on the route. Just didn't finish the play. Squeeze it for the touchdown.
A 35-yard attempt now by Lonis Sieber. This will cut the South Carolina lead to 1. Plenty of leg, and he drills it. That makes it a 1-point game. Wow, what an SEC game from Columbia. 1:24 left in the third quarter, and it's 21-20 Gamecocks. A 35-yard field goal by Sieber, 21-20. Southeastern Conference football is brought to you by O'Charley's, by Regions Bank, by Honda Generators, and by Lipitor. Williams-Brice Stadium here, Columbia, South Carolina. Bob Rathman, Dave Archer, Jen Hildreth, and our entire SEC crew with you. And what has turned into, David, a very entertaining game. We talked about intensity at the top. We've seen that. Injuries, new stars, big plays. It's been terrific.
And it's really what this series of games has been about. We talked about how South Carolina's owned this series. It won the last 9 in a row. Spurrier's never lost to a Kentucky team, but these games over the last couple of years have been like this. This is very similar to last year's game. Kentucky led going into the fourth quarter, and South Carolina had to rally to win that game. Game here 2 years ago. Eric Norwood makes 2 big plays to seal a win.
Greg McIntosh with the kick. And Bryce Sherman with the return. Out to the 18. Anytime you're a quarterback under Steve Spurrier, there's going to be a special relationship. But that was altered a bit this year, as Jen Hildreth explains.
I like how you use that word special. You know, I think that everybody knows that Steve Spurrier is very hard on his quarterbacks. And part of what he's done this year with Steven Garcia was to bring in G.A. Mangus, a guy who played for him at Florida. And I spent some time with G.A. yesterday, and he told me, you know, look, yes, Steve Spurrier is demanding. He is tough. But I kind of like to try to be that buffer between him and Steven Garcia to let him know, you know what, if he's not coaching you hard, that's when you need to worry, guys.
Boy, that's exactly right, Jen. If he's not saying anything to you, it means he's not interested in you playing for him. And I think GA is exactly that. Jen, you said a buffer. That's exactly what he is.
The toss, and Kentucky's there to stop Kenny Miles. Calvin Harrison coming up with a big stick.
I think Kentucky is very comfortable, and Steve Brown, the defensive coordinator for Kentucky, is very comfortable with the fact that I think their front four, they feel like their front four can control the line of scrimmage. So they can come with pressure, they can play coverage, and they're creating some problems now for South Carolina here in the second half. As we wind down towards the fourth quarter, I think Kentucky feels very good about where they are. Even though they're trailing by 1, they're starting to dictate things a little bit on the defensive side. Garcia's going to need to make a play.
And the guy who's been the big playmaker has been the freshman Jeffries. Garcia has to scramble. He's under pressure, and he can't get away. Corey Peters, a 14-yard sack.
Well, I just mentioned the fact that they're able to get pressure on Garcia. Taylor Wyndham, number 94, going to pressure from the outside. You see Ricky Lumpkin involved, Chandler Burton involved. Great job by their front four. Corey Peters obviously involved as well. And really just a poor job of Garcia. Got to throw the ball out of bounds.
The quarter expires on that play as Kentucky comes to its sideline. Garcia thinking about it. 21-20 going to the fourth. Here's some key numbers from our first 3 quarters today, brought to you by Arby's. The biggest number, a 1-point lead for South Carolina. And 15 minutes left, David Archer, to decide it.
Well, I will be surprised here if Coach Spurrier puts Garcia in a position where he can do something where it turn the football over. This, most often for a coach here, this is a draw play or something very simple. Make sure you don't turn it over in your own end.
On the delay, Giles gets outside. Can he get the first? No. Kentucky covers it. He still had 10 more yards to go. Cartier Rice coming over. It was a 13-yard pickup, and South Carolina will punt it away.
Well, and it's a big pickup too, Bob, because it puts you now in a regular punt formation. Had they not been able to gain any yardage, they would have been in a restricted area, which puts them in harm's way as far as a block punt goes. Now it's a normal punt situation from where the punter stands, and you've moved it out to where you can maybe get some reasonable yardage with a decent punt.
Randall Cobb waits. Good pressure. And we have the fair catch made at the 43. Fans are hooting and hollering about a roughing the kicker. And the Gamecocks, boy, their coaches are on the field, and the Boo Birds are singing here at Williams-Brice Stadium. No flag.
It looked like, well, first of all, they wanted the block kick, and obviously he didn't hit the kicker. So that's a great call. And then blocking down the field, you see that young man right there? That's Greg Wilson, who's a sophomore safety, was blocking on one of the Carolina coverage people, and he got a little hit after the play was over. I guess Wilson got away with it.
Now Kentucky with the football, and Derek Locke to the outside into South Carolina territory at the 48. Cullivert pushed him out, a 9-yard pickup. And Derek Locke now 20 carries in this game.
Oh, you want to talk about a block now, Bob? I want you to watch Chris Matthews, number 8. He's going to come in from the outside. That is what you call a crackback right there. Tremendous block on the edge. Connor gets out in front in a big game. That's the second time we've seen Matthews out on the edge. 6'5", 210, laying the wood.
Locke tries to find a hole. Adjuboy jumped on his back. But it is going to be close to a first down. Boy, to think that Kentucky's got a shot here to win this game. Lindley out. Did not travel. Who's been just a stalwart in that secondary. They lose their quarterback to injury, Mike Hartline. And Kentucky's moving the ball down to the South Carolina 47. Locke tripped. And I believe it was number 25 for South Carolina who came up and made that trip again. And that's Winfield, who's making his presence felt here in the second half.
Well, and this is one of those situations. I think you have to punt this ball. I think that Coach Brooks is going to go for it. There's 13 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. You're a 1-point game. You can try to pin South Carolina here. Your defense is playing extremely well. They've decided to go here on a long 1 yard, almost 2 yards here on fourth down.
Close. Depends on the spot. It looks like he's got it. Rich Brooks taking a peek.
Alonzo Winfield on the tackle for Carolina.
Yeah, it looks like he's just got about a football.
Yep.
Bob.
Yep.
But how about the call? You go option with the 6'4", 230-pound Will Fiddler. It's the only option we've seen in the game. With that one Randall Cobb, it was Fiddler on the option play.
On the reverse. Cobb. 20, 10, pushed out at the 5, but there is a penalty flag. Back at the 37.
Boy, they're going to get a hole downfield, and it was really not needed. They did a good job of sealing it and really created a punt return situation on the reverse for Randall Cobb.
And
got a late hold.
Now 44-yard sprint is going to be nullified here.
Holding. 61 on the offense. Penalty. 10 yards from the spot of the flag. Down remains 1.
George Gonzalez, here he is right here. Let's watch George, see what he tries to do. He's the center. He's going to try to get out in front. He's in great position right there. He's got help to the outside. And he got a hold down the field by Matthews, too, the wide receiver. Boy, that's a kind of a ticky-tack on Gonzalez. He did get a hold down the field on Matthews, the wide receiver there.
Fiddler throwing, incomplete. Batted down. And we've got a second down and just a little longer than 10.
Well, you got to, you give this Kentucky offensive line a lot of credit. This is a defensive front that came in, a defensive unit that had 14 sacks coming in. They had 14 different players that had made a tackle for loss. They had camped out in their opponent's backfield over the first 5 games, and Kentucky's done a nice job of providing some opportunities for the quarterback.
On the option, Derek Locke picks up 3. Marion Stewart coming over to make that tackle, the senior, Huntsville, Alabama.
So we talked about Eric Norwood. He's lined up on the outside. He's going to try to slow play this. Great block by Connor again to get Norwood on the ground. Wasn't a big gain, but that's the second time we've seen Connor knock Norwood off his feet on a head-to-head opportunity.
Third and long. Locke went out of bounds at the 39, so shy. It'll be 4th, maybe a yard and a half. And Rich Brooks takes a look at the scoreboard. 21-20 South Carolina and 11:02 to play.
This is well outside the range of any thoughts of a field goal with Siebert, but it's certainly in that situation where you might consider going for it now with just 3 yards to go and inside the 40-yard line of South Carolina.
Cats have converted 1 4th down this drive. Back to pass, but hold everything. Whistles.
Kentucky, first timeout of the half.
So the Wildcats burn one here with 10:35 to play, 4th quarter. Kentucky 4th down when we come back. 4th down, Kentucky Wildcats at the South Carolina 39, trailing by 1. Locke. And a penalty flag. Shaq Wilson credited with the tackle for the Gamecocks.
Dead ball, snap infraction. In Kentucky, in the center, 5-yard penalty. Now remains 4th.
You got to punt. You got to punt that. Snap infraction has got to be George Gonzalez moving the ball before the snap. Yep. Looked like he might have turned the ball a little bit. I don't know. But how about a gutsy call there by Joker Phillips to run the football on 4th and 3, and it looked like Locke had picked up the first down.
Ryan Tidlachka to kick it. Gilmore back in his own 10. For punt. Gets a South Carolina bounce. Out to the 39. A 5-yard punt.
Now, Steve Ortmeyer, who's the special teams coach, is not going to be pleased with that. You'll see him show up there pretty soon to talk to his punter. Coach Brooks is going to talk to him first. Wow. What a big turn of events there for South Carolina.
They get it out to the 39-yard line with 10:23 to play, leading by 1. As we check out our O'Charlie's fan of the game. Little Gamecock on the cheek.
Yeah, he's glad this game started at 12:30 instead of 7, so he's not asleep right now.
On the misdirection, it's Miles to the 49 of Kentucky. 12-yard gain.
That's a huge run here. Again, the delay coming back this way, show movement right, and bring Miles back to the left side. Good hard running, good downfield blocking. Something they needed now. They got Garcia, his had a tough time decision-making wise, certainly whether to throw it or tuck it over the last couple series. That was a big play for Miles to get him in great field position.
Now they work the Wildcat with Miles taking the direct snap. It looked like that just took too long to unfold.
Well, he was calling for the snap, and Garrett Anderson didn't see him. He's calling. It's a silent count, and he's calling for it. We've actually got Lemuel Jean-Pierre at center.
Second and 10. Back to Garcia. He wants to let it go. Caught at the 27. Mo Brown. Again, Kentucky trying to strip it, but Mo is down. Micah Johnson defending a 23-yard pass play, and Brown shaken up.
Well, this play took a long time to develop. They went with an unbalanced line to the right side, and then threw back to Mo Brown, and Mo does a great job of squeezing. Let's see if they were able to get it out. Maddox is going to throw it back to Garcia. Does a good job of getting it out to Mo Brown, and the best thing about that is Mo says, okay, I'm not scoring a touchdown, but I need to make this catch and secure the yardage we're going to get out of this play.
And the officials want to look at it.
Now it looks like Coach Spurrier ran down the sideline and burned
Coach
his
Spurrier
timeout.
takes a timeout. So that stops it with 8:53 to play, and the Gamecocks with a 1st and 10 at the Kentucky 27. Thank you, Fred. It just went final in Fayetteville, 44-23 Arkansas. Vandy goes to OT at Army 13-13, and Houston now 31-17 over Mississippi State in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, I'm much more surprised with Arkansas's ability to hold down the Gus Malzahn offense of Auburn and allow them to win that game. That's a heck of a win for Bobby Petrino's crew.
1st and 10 at the Kentucky 27. Gamecocks stick it on the ground, and they've got running room. Kenny Miles, couple of cuts, and he takes it to the 1. A 26-yard pickup.
Just a draw play, a delay handoff to Kenny Miles. Excellent block right there by DeMarco, the fullback. Miles comes right off it. What a great block to free him up the middle. Excellent job of blocking that time. Lemuel Jean-Pierre, there's also the center got him the linebacker. DeMarco and Jean-Pierre with 2 key blocks on the delay.
Now the Gamecocks have to take another timeout on a 1st and goal at the 1. (21-20) South Carolina with 8:24 to play. For South Carolina today, Alshon Jeffrey has emerged as a go-to guy.
Yeah, he has surfaced as a guy that this is Spurrier kind of thought that this guy was going to be a heck of a player, but he still didn't have a chance to put him up to bat. Well, he had a chance to put him up to bat today. Played extremely well, and a key injury to Kentucky. Mike Hartline playing extremely good football today. Was completing right at 70% of his passes. Had done a great job of distributed football. Hyperextension of the knee. We just hope, hadn't gotten any word on how badly that knee is injured. They won't know until, I'm sure, they do an MRI. Let's hope that Mike Hartline, it's just a sprain and he can be back very soon for Kentucky, because he had really played extremely well, and he gives them the opportunity to win in this league.
On the half-yard line, South Carolina will have it 1st down. First and goal. Power set behind Garcia. And Stephen leaps and scores. Touchdown Gamecocks.
So Garcia gets the payoff, but outstanding running by Kenny Miles to get him down there. Garcia's 3rd rushing touchdown on the year. An outstanding job by South Carolina's offensive line to get that guy right there, Kenny Miles, clean on the delay handoff to the 1-yard line. So they give the offensive line a big assist on the long touchdown, or the nice touchdown drive there for South Carolina.
A big PAT for Spencer Lanning. And that makes it an 8-point game. Eight minutes and 22 seconds left in our game. And South Carolina has taken an 8-point lead. The 26-yard run by Miles sets up the Garcia touchdown. South Carolina takes an 8-point lead, 28-20 over the Cats with 8:22 to play here in this 4th quarter. Now Rich Brooks and Kentucky looking to get the ball back and angle themselves to try to tie this game.
Bob, this is an area where Kentucky has been at the top of the charts for a number of years, is return game. Randall Cobb, a dangerous returner, standing deep. Winston Guy back there as well. But this is an area, Steve Ortmeyer is their special teams coach. They've done an outstanding job over the years of providing opportunities for returns. In fact, they've won games with their return game.
And yet today it's been South Carolina that's come up with the 2 big kick returns. Kentucky has not really had a big one today. 30 block and 1, I guess, over 30. That would be in that category. Let's see what they can get here. Oh, big block. And out to the 30-yard line. A 22-yard return. Well, South Carolina put together a nice drive on the ground, doing the little things that helped your team win. Our Regents Bank doing the little things.
Yeah, those little things are team-type drives, and the offensive line doing a great job of providing Kenny Miles some room to the outside on the delay wide, and then here's the 2 key blocks to Marco and Jean-Pierre. Gets the block for Miles to get him to the 1, and then the big offensive line push that gets Garcia in for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year.
Now it's Randall Cobb out of the Wildcat, and Cobb's going to run it straight ahead. And Stephon Gilmore with the tackle at the 41-yard line. First down, Kentucky.
And really the first time that the Wildcat formation has given South Carolina any trouble. Good job of Cobb reading the play and hitting it straight ahead. They're going to pull the backside tackle, getting out in front, and that's a good job of Cobb getting up in there.
Time of factor, 7:59 left in this 4th quarter. Cobb cuts the corner, first down and then some. Boy, Randall Cobb has come up with 2 big plays out of the Wildcat.
Another big block on the edge by Chris Matthews, the big receiver, helping his receiver mate Randall Cobb. Cobb looks like he's going to throw. He's got it loaded. Gets a big block to the outside. Monsell Allen gets a good block for him. Good job. Talked to Randall right before the game. He said, I got to make sure I say hello to his brother, Michael Love. So hello, Michael, from Randall Cobb.
The give is to Allen to the 35-yard line. Kentucky without its starting quarterback, Mike Hardline, lost to injury. Jen, what's the latest?
Well, just as you guys suspected, he is in street clothes now and obviously will not be returning. They are waiting on further testing, as you said, Dave, and right now they're just calling it a sprained knee, so only can hope the best there for Mike Hardline.
Second down. Cobb waiting. To the 31 and shy of a first down by a yard or 2. Cliff Matthews with the tackle.
What makes Randall Cobb a different type of athlete at this Wildcat position is because he was the quarterback on his team. Split time with Hartline last year. In fact, had a tremendous game against Georgia a year ago when he rushed for 3 touchdowns and over 80 yards. He's a kid that can beat you throwing the ball. That's why it's difficult for South Carolina. They can't commit to the run. They've got to play coverage behind.
A Big third down here. Cobb will take it, and he finds a hole. Get to the outside. And he's out of bounds at the 6. It looked like the Gamecocks had him bottled up, but he broke free.
I think they did. I think they thought they had him bottled up as well. He's just going to knife to the inside. Great block on Norwood that time, coming down from the outside by Brad Durham. And then watch Durham 75 hammer Norwood, and getting right in behind the block was Randall Cobb. What a special play.
First and goal at the 6. Kentucky down by 8. Cobb fakes the throw, pulls it down, and bangs it to the 4. Clifton Gathers making the tackle for South Carolina. And Cobb running hard, head down.
Going to fake the pass and then just stick it up in there. Big hit right at the end of it by Matthews.
Second and goal at the 4, and for more on Cobb, let's go downstairs. Once again to Jen Hildreth.
Bob, wasn't it interesting talking to Randall Cobb? He said he was an average player in high school. Rich Brooks said, hey, he is anything but average. They know he's a special playmaker. Got to get the ball in his hands as much as they can.
Gets a breather here. And the handoff to Derek Locke to the 3. It's going to be third and goal. 5:04 on the clock running here in Columbia.
Now they've been willing to run the option with Fiddler twice in this game since he's entered the game. So now he's going to go out wide in a wide receiver spot, and they're going to put Cobb back under center.
Touchdown, Kentucky. 4:34 to play. Randall Cobb taking it in, and they're going to go for 2.
Now you have to go for 2 now. Down 2 points. You got to go for 2. Just over 4 minutes left. Good job again, pulling. Good job of Johnson, Christian Johnson, getting out in front. He didn't really get a lot of people, but he got that big body in the way at 6'4", 330, and got Cobb in the end zone.
And now for the opportunity to tie. Fiddler wants to throw it. Batted down by Cliff Matthews, and that may have saved the game.
Well, it's a play they went back to. It's a play they've run a number of times. Randall Cobb is going to be lined up in the slot to the right side, open, or trying to get him open, but South Carolina's having none of it. Completely covered up the play, but Kentucky has cut this lead to 2. Just 4.5 to go.
A 2-point South Carolina lead. Kentucky getting set to kick off for the Gamecocks with 4:34 to play. South Carolina today has had a long kick return of 61 yards. Kentucky has yielded 32 yards on average in kick returns in this game. They can't afford a long one here. It will be down in the end zone for a touchback, so they don't have to worry about it. Now the Gamecocks take it out to the 20. Boy, Cliff Matthews with a tremendous play to save the 2 points.
Matthews is going to swim to the inside and get his hands in the air, and really Fiddler throws the ball into coverage. Would have been probably intercepted anyway. But good job of Matthews swimming to the inside, elevating, getting the hands in the air. Very surprised right there that Randall Cobb, that man right there, did not have the ball in his hands on the 2-point conversion try. I think they were trying to throw it to Randall instead of snap it to him there.
Garcia. Low snap. He handles it. Miles bangs ahead for 3. Kentucky has 2 timeouts to work with. South Carolina 1.
And Kentucky now saw themselves get pushed around a little bit defensively on that last drive that Carolina scored the touchdown on. They're going to have to swell up defensively and stop the run, force Garcia to try to throw it.
And the freshman, Alshon Jeffrey, is at the top of your screen. Number 1. Now the Gamecocks use their final timeout.
Well, Spurrier saw blitz and he called timeout late. They were going to come after the running play. He didn't like what he had on, so he burned the timeout there. He's going to get into a play that's going to service both the blitz and if they play off here. He's going to try to get in a better play. He didn't like it. So a good job by Coach Spurrier trying to manage it from the sidelines for Garcia.
Join us next week as we take our show to Oxford, Mississippi. The Ole Miss Rebels will be taking on the Blazers of UAB, Alabama, Birmingham. Devon Sneed and company against the Blazers. And we go back under the lights next week. Our coverage at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central for UAB and Ole Miss.
And one of the really good players nobody knows about, we hope he's not too banged up, that he can play in that game, is Joe Webb, the quarterback for UAB. A heck of a football player. Will run it, throw it. He'll line up outside and try to throw it to himself. He does it all. He's a heck of a player.
Final now in Knoxville, 45-19 Tennessee. And in Starkville it's gone final. Houston 31 and the Bulldogs 24. The glamour games coming up. Alabama, Ole Miss getting underway in Oxford. And then tonight the big one, Florida and LSU. Second down and 6. Miles to the 27.
3 miles for the Gamecocks on the carry.
Now 3rd and short. And we've got, like you, one eye on that clock. We're down to 3:36.
Well, everything for Coach Brown and his defense now for Kentucky is going to have to sell out right here to try to get a stop. If they could get the stop, they preserve their timeouts for their offense. Should they give up a first down, they're going to have to start using timeouts to try to preserve time to get the ball back.
Garcia rolling, looking, knocked down, but gets the first down. Winston Guy hit him, but Stephen Garcia with that late hurdle attempt nets South Carolina the first down.
This is one of the reasons that Spurrier has this kid playing quarterback for him. He's got some moxie about him. He's fumbled the ball already once today. Big fumble, led to a field goal. But here he realizes, I've got to get this first down. He elevates, puts himself in harm's way, and really puts the ball in a bad spot, but gets the first down. He just loves the moxie of the kid. The kid's got that it factor that provides an opportunity for you to win, and that was a huge play by Stephen Garcia.
Miles spins off one hit to the 35, and they have whistled this play dead, yet Miles kept going. The clock stops at 2:31.
Having a tough time getting the redshirt freshman on the ground. Kenny Miles had a strong fourth quarter. Redshirt freshman from Brookwood High School in Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Now Kentucky has taken the timeout. They have one remaining.
No, and that's what the Stephen Garcia run did. To get you the first down, now you've forced Rich Brooks to burn his timeouts. He has one left now. And South Carolina can seal the game if they could get another first down.
South Carolina has won 9 consecutive games in this series. The last time that Kentucky was able to win was October 9th of 1999. South Carolina had lost 15 straight going into that one. And then we've got the pickoff here by Eric Kelly. He returned to 29 to set up another Wildcat TD. Then Dusty Bonner finds Brad Pyatt. That's a touchdown. And finally Dusty Bonner rushing in for another score as Kentucky came out with a 30-10 win. The last time that Kentucky beat the Gamecocks. So this one, and as Steve told us yesterday, Dave, in this winning streak, they've been very fortunate. Some games that Kentucky's had right in their hand.
The game last year, 2 special teams plays led to them winning the football game.
denied by Corey Peters. Timeout, Kentucky. That stops it with 2:26. It will be a third down play. So now both teams have exhausted all of their timeouts. We talked earlier about the games today and tonight in the SEC, and under the lights the whole nation will be watching Tim Tebow and the Florida Gators, and the question, of course, will Tebow play? The latest we heard before our game got underway, medically cleared to play. He would perform tonight for the Gators.
I don't know if this film has been run as much as the Zapruder film right here of Tebow getting hit. But the thing I think you have to keep in mind, and this is a great series. Obviously, 2 years ago when Florida went to LSU was able to prevail. But this is a game that obviously everything on the line, but everything that's been concentrated on is about Tebow. And Urban Meyer is the last guy that's going to put Tebow in harm's way. And I think that's something that needs to be put in perspective here. It's been talked about and debated whether he should play. Urban Meyer thinks Tebow is his kid, and I don't think he's going to put his kid in harm's way. And I think enough said there.
And John Brantley is just another great quarterback waiting for his opportunity. Miles, big hole. Right up the middle. Out to the 48, first down, South Carolina. A 12-yard pickup, and it's our Phillips HD play of the game.
Well, this is the sealer. You got to get the second level block, which they do right there. Sam Maxwell blocked the linebacker. That was his hole. They get Micah Johnson blocked by Lemuel Jean-Pierre, the center. And then a great block again by DeMarco, the fullback, number 47. Patrick DeMarco's made some key blocks here in the fourth quarter that has allowed Kenny Miles to make some plays.
Miles up to 96 yards on 16 carries. Miles moves over the 50 as Kenny takes it down to the 47. I want to take you back to the third quarter when South Carolina had just taken a 21-17 lead. Kentucky was deep in South Carolina territory. They tried a fake field goal that would have been a 31-yard attempt had they gone through with it. But Cobb was denied, and South Carolina was able to make the stand, got the ball back. But that's 3 points that the Kentucky Wildcats decided that they weren't going to try. And that 3-point opportunity looks very large right now.
Well, and you wonder if that was a blanket call or if there was a read for Randall Cobb there, because certainly a good job. It didn't look like South Carolina was going to rush at all. So at some point as a player on the field, if you have that option, you call off the fake and you go for the kick. But it certainly looked like it was a straight fake all the way. There was never any option for Randall to call off the play. So that's one that Coach Brooks will get asked about, I'm sure, all week.
And now he's hot about the way they're handling the clock now. It is running, and it's down to 1:10. Second down. And a penalty flag.
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 87, 5-yard penalty, down remains second.
And Steve Spurrier in disbelief.
Well, Coach Spurrier has gotten his team off to great starts the last 2 years, and this is another great start. Should they hold on here the last minute, they have a chance to be 5-1. You see the great starts, and things have deteriorated for them over the last couple of years. And remember, next week waiting probably a national televised game with the Alabama Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa.
Garcia takes the knee, and that will do it. Kentucky cannot stop the clock, and the South Carolina Gamecocks have the victory. And they knock off the Wildcats by 2, 28-26. A 2-point conversion attempt that Cliff Matthews made the great play on, preserved the lead. And the Gamecocks pick up the victory as the two teams shake hands out.